Such technology. Why did you do this?
So I guess we'll check everything before we start. Alright, so welcome everyone to my presentation. My name is Mustafa Bal, and today I'll be presenting on my application called RemindR. So, when I started this lab along with Michelle, we're in the same class, I kind of had a rough idea of what I wanted to do, and that was to make a utilitarian application that would provide timely reminders when the user needed it. I didn't want to just make a notes application where you could just write down what you wanted to do and then maybe see that later when you may have missed that date. I wanted to make an application where it would provide you with timely details. It would provide you with timely reminders, and it would provide them maybe when the time was appropriate or maybe when you're at the location that you want to get reminded at. So I obviously wanted to make an application, but first of all, I had three criteria that I wanted to fulfill. First, it had to be a visual application where the user would quickly see what kind of reminder they were going to get. I wanted to be a queue-based application where when the time or the location was appropriate, the reminder would then pop up into the user's display. And then I wanted to do a reminder application where basically the user would be reminded of what kind of task they would be doing. And I thought, what better device to use for this application than the Google Glass? And just to see a show of hands, how many of you have at least heard of the Google Glass before? Okay, so all of you. How many of you have at least used the Google Glass? Almost none of you. Okay, so I would like to just pass it around if you want to look at it. Yeah. It's turned on, so you can just use it if you want to. So just to go about an overview of the Google Glass. So it's basically an Android device that has a screen that is about maybe 1/6 of your field of vision. It's this right here. So it's like a mini projector displayed onto the glass, the prism here, which then you see. And it's got its battery right here. Battery's right here. It's not very big, as I'll talk about later. And this is the touchpad. So you know how on laptops you have the touchpads where you could scroll the mouse through? The touchpad for this is right here. So what you do is basically like this. In order to navigate the device, you just slide your finger along if you want to go left and right. And if you want to slide down, that's how you put an application. The speaker is right here. It's like a bone-induced speaker. So it touches your bone marrow right here, and that's how you hear it. The microphone is right there. The camera is obviously right here. And the camera can both take pictures and take videos, which will be useful for my application. Okay. So this is the overall perspective of what you would expect from the Google Glass. The screen is about that big. And let's say when you're going about your day, and this is one of Google's own applications, the Maps applications. So let's say you want to go from your current location to a metro station. Now, if it would show these directions to you, and it wouldn't take up your entire vision, it would only take up a small part of your vision. So my approach was to use both the Google Glass and a smartphone. That smartphone could be an iOS, an iPhone. It could be an Android. The application works on both of them because the application runs on the Google Glass, but the application relies on smartphones' two specific features. So first, for the Google Glass, I'll be using its visual screen, its camera, and its microphone/speakers. And for the smartphone, I'll be using its GPS feature, as well as its basic ability to access the internet. And they'll be communicating through Bluetooth. And this icon right here is the My Glass application. It's Google designed this so that you would have an easy time connecting your Google Glass and your smartphone. And this application is also really useful because you could see what the Google Glass, you could see what is being displayed on the Google Glass. It's called Screencast, and that's the application that I use to take screenshots of the Google Glass, and I'll show you later. And I used the Android Studio Integrated Development Environment, Android Studio IDE, to program my application. There are a lot of students here, so I'm pretty sure you all heard of JGrasp. This is the JGrasp of Android development. And Google has been nice enough to provide us with 2 SDKs to make my life easier in programming on Android. The first one is the Android Software Development Kit. That's what a lot of Android developers use to program their basic application. And the Glass Development Kit is just an easy way for you to use the Glass's camera to display Glass-specific features such as the cards that I'll get to. And I mainly used Java. For my language, there was no really other language that was, hard. And if you would like to see my code, if you have a Google Glass that you happen to have, you could go to this website. And TRB is my username, RemindR is the project name, and you could download it and install it on your own Google Glass. And I could, and I could upload it to the Google Play App Store because it's obviously not authorized, and I would have to be an official developer, which costs school money, and I don't want to make the school pay a lot of money for that. Okay. So this is what the screen that you would see when you first put on the Google Glass. And actually, are you seeing the screen right now? When you're using it?
I have a OK Glass, but
yes.
let me take a
So,
picture. Oh, wait.
So you just said OK Glass. So you just said OK Glass, right? That's the command that you say to open up the list of applications that are available. And this is the application that I made. So if one of you would like to try that, you could go to this screen, say OK Glass, and then say Remind Me, and it would route you up to my application. If you want to try that.
Turn it off.
Oh, you turn it off? Okay.
I just took a picture of you, sorry.
No worries. You could also open the application manually. Instead of saying OK Glass, you could just click on the touchpad, and you could scroll through different applications. And mine just happens to be the first application there because I was just done programming it. And these are the 4 main displays that you would see. Again, you could scroll through these displays. The first one is a set reminder, where you could set where it takes you to the place where you can set the specifications of your reminder. You could edit them if you want to edit, let's say you mess up on one reminder, or let's say you want to change the time or the location. You could do that right away. You could see your current reminders right here. And this is the now reminder display. Who programmed it and what. So when you press on the set reminder card, you'll see these 4 displays that you can scroll through. The set message one, if you press on that, it would take you to a Google Voice display where you could say, remind me to pick up some delicious apples from Giant. And that's useful because remember how I talked about how the application uses your smartphone's GPS coordinates? So when you set up a reminder, it'll also remember where you set up the reminder, so that let's say when you go back to Giant some other day, or maybe if the time comes first, whichever one applies before, that's when the reminder will be displayed. You can also take a picture you can take a picture of those apples that you wanted to have that much. You can set a due date manually. That also takes you to a Google Voice display where you could say the date, and that's what you press at the end to finish setting up your reminder. And again, if you didn't get the specification reminder right, you could change it right here, and it leads you up to the same 4 displays right here. Or you could just delete your reminder. You could select it, and it will delete it right away. And these are the 2 example reminders that I set up. I kept the date and the location same, so it would be easy to figure out what's what. And so if you wanted to remind yourself to work on your clock copy project, you could, this is how it would be displayed if you wanted to view your reminders before the reminder date or the location was due. So when the time is right, or when you are at the same location that you set up the reminder at, it would, and if Google Glass is turned on, obviously, if it's turned off, it won't work. But if it's snoozing, if it's sleeping, then you could just, or you don't have to do anything. If the date and the time is right, the location is correct, it would make a gentle sound, and you would be seeing this screen right here. So let's say if you're a college student, you're really lazy, like all college students are at first, and you never did laundry in your life before. Your mom always did it for you, and if you wanted to do it yourself, and if you wanted to remind yourself that you wanted to do laundry, you could just take a picture of this, the laundry room. You could say do laundry, and you could set up the date and the date and the location. You set automatically for you. So I unfortunately had some limitations with my project. So first of all, for the hardware, the Google Glass battery, it's not very big. No, if they made the battery very large, then it would be a very heavy device, and it wouldn't be as practical as it might be now. And since the battery is really small, it runs out of battery pretty quickly. No, that is an improvement that Google will make in their second iteration of the Google Glass. And for the software, since my application kept checking for the location every couple of minutes, that would also eat up your Google Glass battery, as well as your smartphone battery. But those are minor adjustments. Those could be made with more code, just specifying when to check the location and date. If you were to connect it to a Wi-Fi network, that could be useful. And that's pretty much it. Any questions? Any questions? Yes.
Are they definitely making a second Google Glass?
Yes. So they, Google looked up the purchase statistics of the Google Glass, and they saw that not many people were buying it. The Google Glass costs $1,500, which actually the computer systems lab gladly paid for. I'm really thankful for that. And so since not many people were buying it, instead of discontinuing the Google Glass, they suspended production, and they indicated that they'll be making a more efficient, especially with a bigger battery, a more efficient version of the Google Glass. And they might not follow up on that, but they said they would. And usually Google is right about their promises.
So you think the biggest problem with the first one is that it wasn't really affordable?
It wasn't really affordable, and the battery was not that big. The battery would run out. The Google Glass is designed so that you would not use it, constantly like your smartphone. It was just like the Apple Watch or any smartwatch. You would just look at it from time to time. The battery for that would be sufficient. But for my application, since I kept checking for the location, every couple of minutes, every 5-10 minutes, it would eat up on the battery. But again, that could be improved if Google makes specific applications for the developer to check the location. And it would obviously help if they made a bigger battery, if they include a bigger battery with the Google Glass.
I thought there were privacy issues.
Yeah, so the privacy issue is, since the camera is sitting right there at the front, some people are concerned that you could secretly take pictures of them, but that would happen with any smartphone. You could always take up your smartphone and just take a picture, Same with the Google Glass, you would have to, there's a button on the glass that allows you to take a picture right away, and that would be noticeable. If you were that kind of person who would secretly take those kind of pictures, I don't think the Google Glass is worth it, because the battery, again, it's really short. If you were constantly taking pictures, it wouldn't last a long time. So.
Yes, turn it.
Yeah.
The battery's this.
Again, the battery. Yes. So, any other questions? All right, thank you so much.